come prepared to listen and come prepared to flex. A lot of times your classroom has a lot to say, they have a lot of feedback to give, they have a lot to share, and incorporating them makes them feel part of the learning process and empowers them to own the information. Hi, my name is Jodie Stanley. I'm the Education and Outreach Coordinator for the City of Greensboro Human Relations Department. So part of my role in human relations is to really expand the knowledge of what we do in both the community, so external and internally with other city departments. Human relations is often a very misunderstood department, and it's also a very little known department to the external partners. So my job is really to spread the word, share the joy, and share with the community what it is that we care about. So human relations is the human rights arm of the city. And really what we're looking at is social justice issues. What's happening in the city around racial disparity, inequities, different things that are happening that are systemic. So we're addressing these issues and needs through some commissions and boards that we work with. We work with the Commission on the Status of Women. We work with the Human Relations Commission. We also work with the International Advisory Committee. We also have something we call the Police Community Review Board, which what they do is they look at some of the information that's coming from the police department. So a lot of what I do is I provide support. So much of my specific role is as a facilitator for some of these commissions and boards. When, for example, there's a need that's identified in the community, for example, there was a recent program that we did around pay equity for women. And a lot of my role, it falls on me to coordinate those programs, bring the partners together, to make sure that the space is reserved and that all the logistics are there in order to make the program run smoothly. For example, one of our mental health programs was around education. So we called it mental health and education, real simple. So we brought around the ground of the table were a lot of folks from the education system, as well as the mental health advocacy fields. And one of the things that we saw come out of the actual program when we brought the vendors together, we had an educational program for the community members. But when we brought the vendors together, they actually started talking, and it ended up with a training for teachers in Guilford County Schools, where something called the National Alliance on Mental Illness came in as trainers, and they provided training for teachers and parents. So I was raised in South America. My parents are missionaries there. I was born and raised in Bolivia. And being raised in a country where you're a foreigner, you're never accepted fully. So people can acknowledge you, they can see you, but because you're in the minority, you're never fully a part of that culture. It gave me a genuine empathy for what minorities are going through here in the United States. The experience is not the same at all, but it's very similar in some ways, because I had to, when I came to the United States, I still felt like an outsider. I always have felt like an outsider, because even though I might present as white, I sound white, in many ways the way I view the world is global. It's very different than the way a lot of people view the world here. So that's always given me a passion for giving a platform to people that don't have a voice. Part of what I do is I create the space for people who don't typically have the right to speak. I create that space for them to raise their voices. And that's something I find a lot of pleasure in. I also know that we have a lot of work to do, certainly, and that's why my department sits in a really critical space, because we bridge some of these activist agencies outside and the city. We offer that connection, that middle piece, which again is what I'm passionate about, that connecting, that networking. Bridging that space is really critical. It can be a difficult role, because there are two spaces that we are bringing together. The two spaces don't always agree. In many ways they do, not always, and that's okay. That's okay, because it's about listening. It's about really trying to understand where others are coming from.